Over these past few weeks of learning about the American family, one thing that I found really interesting was kinship bonds and how important they are in our roles of family and maybe supporting a family or being an alternative form of family. And a term for that is chosen family. So it's the family that you choose to include in your life, whether that be biological family or kinship bonds, and the people that you really surround yourself with that provide that nurturance, love, acceptance, etc., that really characterizes a family, especially in modern Western societies. So I started to draw parallels between my own experience with all of my friends in the house that I'm living in right now, especially some of my queer friends and their role in my life, and some roles of people in my mom's life that I've always viewed as aunts and uncles and things like that that aren't necessarily biologically related to us. And it sort of weaved into this theme of an extended chosen family, how I have these networks that are elders, but also my peers that are really closely bonded to me, and I'm closely bonded to them. But it's not necessarily biologically at all, it's just through love and acceptance and nurturing.
Hi, so I am here with Cameron Bechtold, one of my dear friends, and I would say a member of my own chosen family. So I brought him here today to ask him a little bit about what he thinks of chosen family. So the first question that I had for you to start things off is, how would you identify yourself?
So I would say that I'm a cisgender gay male.
Can you explain what those terms mean for the viewers?
So cisgender just means that I identify with the gender the sex I was born with.
Okay.
And I'm gay, so I like the same gender.
Nice. Okay, so now moving into chosen family, how would you say that you would define the term chosen family?
So I would say it's a group of people that you feel your authentic self with.
Can you expand on that a little bit? What does it mean to be your authentic self?
So you just don't have to think about your actions as much, and you feel very comfortable being free and yourself with those people.
Okay, I'm waiting for this car to pass. Okay, so you mentioned that you feel free to act yourself and things like that. So what are some ways that you act with your chosen family that you might not around other people?
So I definitely let my sexuality show, my true colors fly, I just let it all out.
Can you tell me who Melissa is?
So Melissa is my alter ego. She is my inner self, my authentic self, I would say. She only comes out sometimes, not all the time, but when she's there, she can't be missed.
She's very feminine, over the top.
Yes.
And that's only something that comes out, with your chosen family.
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay. So, who would you say is in your chosen family?
So, we all live together in this house. Sam, he's one of them. Just a lot of my friends, very close friends, who I feel like I can trust. And, yeah.
Would you consider your biological family part of your chosen family, in a way?
No.
So you consider them separate?
Yes.
Okay. And what role has chosen family played for you in your life? So, before you had a really strong chosen family, and now, what do you think has changed?
So, before I had my chosen family, I felt like I just wasn't being who I could be. I just hadn't reached my potential.
Right.
And with my chosen family, I just feel comforted and that I can find my full potential.
So you find a lot of support and comfort through your chosen family.
I do.
Nice. And what would you say that you contribute to your chosen family?
I contribute loyalty, support, and I'm funny.
Yeah, some would say that. And what would you say I contribute to our chosen family?
So, just as I do, laughter, and humor, and he's
actually funny.
He's also very trustworthy, and he always knows what the right things to say are.
Cute. And lastly, sort of in a broader context, why do you think chosen family is so important for queer people like us?
Because there just isn't enough support out there yet, and with your chosen family, they're really there for you and have your back, where in my case and sometimes Sam's, our biological family doesn't.
Hmm.
So without each other, I think that we would each be like lacking something that our biological family just couldn't give.
And would you say that straight people can have a chosen family?
I would say yes, but it's just a lot easier for them and it doesn't mean as much.
I would agree with that statement. So do you have anything else about the term chosen family or anything about your chosen family that you wanted to say today?
Just that it's very important to me, and I think that I'm important to my chosen family because they would be nothing without me. There, I said it.
So I didn't just want to hear Cam's side of the story regarding chosen family, so I asked my own mom how she viewed chosen family as an elder, someone who's a bit older, and maybe this wasn't as common of a concept. So I sort of explained to her what the concept meant and how it was a lot of close kinship bonds, and a recurring theme came up about her best friend Carrie. And then I tied it into a family tradition that we have of Misfit Christmas Eve. So Carrie came about when my mom was previously married. She was married when she was 18 and then divorced when she was 19, and it was a fairly abusive relationship. And across the hall, her now friend Carrie, lived with her boyfriend at the time. Long story short, when my mom divorced her husband, Carrie also broke up with her boyfriend and he moved out, so my mom moved in. And in that apartment, it was a one bedroom, so Carrie lived in the bedroom and my mom slept on the couch for a bit until they found a new place. They had two big German shepherds that were there to protect them, and they were also just their best friends and part of their family. And then they eventually moved to West Haven, which is a little bit further away, and they had a two-bedroom, and that's where they lived for a while until they met their respective husbands, so my now father, and then Carrie's now divorced husband, Dave. So there's a lot of shifts in relationships, and one thing that was really constant for them was each other, so that was really nice to hear. And then this sort of expanded. So my mom also met Johanna and Barb with Carrie when they would go out partying and whatnot because they were still quite young. And they formed this really close-knit group. And then Misfit Christmas Eve came out of this. So essentially, one Christmas Eve, my mom was the only married one out of all of her girlfriends. So Johanna, Carrie, and Barb all didn't have husbands yet. So my mom decided to invite them over. So my mom was home with my oldest brother Josh, who was a newborn, so she didn't want to go out. And her friends all didn't want to go out either because no one's really at the bars on a Christmas Eve, and they didn't really feel like they could go home to their family because they were either too far. There was a bit of a strange relationship. So from there, they started coming over, and it really built from there. So all of them ended up finding husbands and also having children, so they would bring babies. So it was very welcoming of really anyone who had anyone to bring. People would bring their dogs, they would bring friends, they would bring some of their own family if they didn't have a place to go. So we even had some of my cousins from Guatemala come, and that was really common because they didn't have the time to fly back to Guatemala or the money. So since they were going to college here, they would just come for a lot of our holidays, but especially Misfit Christmas Eve. And a lot of people come and go. My mom always mentioned that one thing that everyone should know is that anyone who doesn't have a place to go is always welcome at our house on Christmas Eve, so that even goes for any of you in class. My mom is very open to just meeting anyone, and she's very extroverted. So,
Melissa and Miranda are here!